Okay, so it's day 2 on my Israel trip with Once in a Lifetime, and I've had a great day today. I'll tell you a bit about last night first. We went to a International Arts and Crafts Fair, which was at the Sultan's Pool, which is like, for those who don't know, it's just next to the old city in Jerusalem, and it's a nice place. And there was lots of arts and crafts stalls there, and got to have a shawarma. One of my fellow bloggers on the trip, Dan, is also a shawarma fan, so we went on a shawarma hunt, and we were victorious and managed to get some, and it was just as lovely as the Israeli shawarmas I've had in the past have been. An Israeli singer called Gidi Gof was singing. Now, I hadn't heard of him, but it seems like he's musical royalty over here. He's got to be pretty much the same age as the State of Israel, I'd guess, in his early 60s. And he's been going for many decades singing, and he really is fantastic. And the atmosphere was amazing. There were kids there, like really cool sort of Israeli teenagers jumping up and down next to families who were jumping up and down and dancing and singing, and even elderly people. It was all sorts of different type of people just united by this sort of love of this great singer. And of course I didn't always understand what he was singing, but he said the word ahava a lot, and I know well that means love. And I think someone once said, all you need is love, so that was good. And it was a great first night together with all the bloggers and the people arranging the trip, and we had a lovely time. And then today we've had our first full day, and we started off by going to the Mount Scopus area, which gives great views of Jerusalem and the old city. And we went to the British Military Cemetery, and then we moved on to the Hebrew University in Mount Scopus, which is a really great campus. It's very large, you know, considering it's such a small country. I was surprised by how large just one of the 4 campuses of that university alone was. And we got to meet some students, and we walked around the botanical gardens, which is one of those places where, you know, just the smells of all the plants fills the air and is just lovely. And we picked some carob from a tree and ate some carob, which was quite nice. One of the people there said she thought it tasted like paper. I thought it tasted, well, I've never tasted paper before, but I didn't think it tasted like paper. So we had a really good time there, and then a nice spot of lunch, and we saw some burial systems from around the Second Temple period, which was very interesting, including one of a man whose surname was Osishkin, which is the name of the street where we're staying. And so that was great. And we then moved on to the Jerusalem municipality, basically the local council, the Jerusalem Council it seemed to be, where we met up with one of the councillors who works with tourism and foreign relations, and gave us a very interesting talk. And we were also shown a scale model of most of Jerusalem, which you can look at from above, and it's I think 1 to 50 was the scale. So you've got the old city there, where we're staying, we pointed out, where I stayed before, Mount Zion Hotel, which is very nice, by the way, was also there. And so that was great to really, we really now starting to get a feeling of what to wear in Jerusalem, which, having looked at it effectively in a model from above, was a whole lot easier. We then had this talk with this, as I say, this guy who's one of the Jerusalem councillors of the local council. And it was interesting what he said. He said that Jerusalem is actually the poorest city in Israel. And I don't know how often that's the case with a capital city, but that's the case here. And he talked about ways that they're trying to encourage more tourism, and also to encourage young Israeli people to live here and then stay here rather than moving on to, say, Tel Aviv. So that was interesting. And we then heard the mayor speak, and we'd actually met the mayor at the concert the night before, shaking hands with the mayor of Jerusalem, which is not something I do every day of the week. So when we saw him speaking today, it was like old friends gathering together almost. And we then got to walk on quite an exclusive balcony around the outside of the municipality building. And, you know, so we got to see a really amazing aerial view of Jerusalem, which is visually a stunning city. One of the things that stood out for me today was when we were at Mount Scopus, there's a coffee shop which was blown up in, I believe, 2002 by a suicide bomber who killed 9 people. And they've grown outside a tree which grows at 45 degrees as a sort of memorial to this, and that was quite a sort of striking thing. And again, it just brings home the reality of what Israel faced and what therefore led to the security fence being erected. And in fact, when we were at the municipality building, one of the guys there pointed out to me an area which near Jaffa Street in Jerusalem, or on Jaffa Street, there was a particular area which was particularly hit by bus bombings. And you know, when you meet people here, and you meet people as he had, who had lost friends and had friends injured in bombings, his office glass window had been smashed twice by the shockwave of bombings. It goes to show the reality of what they faced here, particularly sort of between 2000 and 2004, when the bombings were so almost commonplace here. And so that was very interesting. And then this evening I've just come back from meeting another person who I sort of know from the internet land, and we went to Mahan Yehuda Market. I've probably pronounced that wrong, but hey. And I had the Aroma coffee. Regular readers of my blog will know that I love Aroma iced coffee. The thick one, by the way. And I'm absolutely obsessed with it, so I had to get some of that. So I had that with him, and we had a good chat about life. And in a moment, we're off to the Israeli Wine Festival, which should be interesting. I'm teetotal, so I shall be just sniffing at most. And that should be good, though, to see that and see how it all goes. I'm mindful that a lot of new people are now reading my blog as a result of this trip, so I wanted to say hi to you all, and I hope you enjoy it. If you look on the right-hand side of the page, there's a link that says why I blog about Israel. And so if you want to understand why I call it Oy V'Goy, and why me as a Gentile am so interested and supportive of Israel, then you can read that link there, and I hope it answers your questions. And finally, got lots more coming up on this trip. We're going to be planting trees in Jerusalem, we're going to be volunteering on a market, partying in Tel Aviv, and lots more. And so I'll be blogging every day, video or text or both, and I hope you're enjoying it, and I'm certainly really enjoying Israel, which is a magical place.